Hi, and welcome back to Last 60, Best 60. Thank you so much for being a part of this process, whether it's your first day or if you've been in it for the last 40 days, 45 days. So we're on day 16. So we've been moving along, working on our life, whether it's looking at what we've been doing in the past or looking at what do we want and what do we value. Now I've been working on each day focusing on one of the areas of life in the wheel of life, because I really think that at least once a year, hopefully twice a year, and if you have the rhythm to do it in your schedule, every quarter to look at your life and all aspects of your life. I've said this before, and a couple of things that keep resonating is that we're the only ones who are working on our life. So I encourage everyone who wants to live an illumined life to do the work on your life to move forward. And whether that's setting goals or resolutions or however you want to enter into the new year, like do it from a place that you've really spent time taking inventory on your life. I can't stress more how that will change the perspective from I don't want what's going on in my life, I just want to change it to that, as opposed to looking at what exists and really looking at the blueprint, like why does that exist and how can I change the infrastructure to make the whole to make my whole life work better. So if we're just like rearranging the outside and on the facade making changes, it's not as deep. And however you do that, whether it's with a coach, a therapist, a group of friends who are also committed to look at their lives really honestly and authentically, do the inner work. It's just a great time to do this, both at this time of the year when everything is sort of feeling that resurgence, that renewal, getting your new planner, getting sort of clearing things off the deck. There's just like a cultural feeling at the new year, but also like now is the time to live your best life. So today, the area I want to focus on is love and relationships. And that romantic relationship that I'm talking about, not everybody has, and that's either by choice or by circumstance. So I've shared before that most of my late teen, early 20s was really without a love relationship. My only experience of that was like TV and movie. And so as a result, I really spent my formative years like thinking about what did I want that to be like. And I also spent it seriously considering being a nun. And in the Catholic tradition, nuns are celibate. If you've ever been in a love relationship, and I trust that most of us have, there's a way of sharing ourselves with a person that is unique and very, very special. And by that, it's like we know each other not so much. I know like intimacy is sort of like the code word or like the innuendo for sexual relationships, but there's also like this coming into my like inner room. You know, we don't let a lot of people behind the curtain of our lives. And once we do, like on some level it's physical, but on another level it's like we, this is the person that we wake up to, or this is the person that we're with not just for 2 hours, but for an extended, like sometimes 8 hours. And so it's like an intimacy of knowing in both time, but also in depth. I think that's a very special way to see someone. So love relationships have a very unique quality in terms of seeing someone. And then it's also a unique quality of being seen. So as I've been writing in my posts about rating yourself in this area as we focus in every day. So when you're rating yourself, think about how happy are you in your state of relationships. So if you're single and loving it because it gives you the freedom to move from city to city because of your work or your lifestyle, like that's a high score. If you love dating and you really don't want a permanent relationship for now, like that's a high score, and some people choose that. And I encourage you, if you're in that state of relationship and it's working for you, then really embrace it and live it fully, because For most humans, that's probably not for a lifetime. In my early 30s, when I was single, instead of feeling frustrated that I wasn't in a relationship, I just, I remember traveling a lot. And it was also the time when I was a new yoga teacher, and I actually really liked the freedom of not being responsible for a family, for another person. I was also not even sure where I was going to live, in Chicago or California. So I wasn't looking for a place to be committed. I was open to it, but for whatever reason, I didn't have it. So it gave me a lot of freedom to explore any option. I mean, I thought of New York, Chicago, California, Northern California, Southern California. Like, it gave me a lot of freedom to be single. And so I really embraced that. And if you're in a relationship and it's committed or not committed, like, is there the kind of communication that feels really good? Because the state of relationship doesn't mean married or single. The state of relationship is what is the quality of the state of your relating to someone intimately. And if you're in a relationship and the communication is poor, rate yourself accordingly. And if you're in a relationship and while the future may seem unclear, but the communication, the connection is really good, rate yourself high. So it's really not either in or out of a relationship that is your state of relationship. It's really like, how are you in it? And if you're single and you're cynical and you're thinking there's no one out there and poor me, and I've been there too, that needs to be looked at. Be honest with yourself about where you're at. And if you're in a relationship and you're tolerating the other person, be honest with that. And if there's something about the relationship that has just either died out and there's no hope, be honest with that. And someone was describing to me the other day that it was like they just couldn't connect, and they had built a whole life together, but they just realized that there was no, it really felt like magnets repelling each other as much as they tried. And so that also, be honest with the state of your relationship. So check out the post again. I'm adding a lot of questions that I've asked myself, and I'm pulling from different resources. And look at it honestly from the state of relationship, and consider the breadth and the depth of the kind of relationship that you're in, knowing the kind of relationship that you want. Thanks, and have a great day. I'm looking forward to ending the year strong with everyone. So keep the feedback coming, because it's been so helpful to really shape these last days to make it most helpful to you.